I just found out the engine in this car is not a 350, it's a 305. You know, one thing that was bugging me is I can never get the engine number off the pad in the front of the engine because the block was milled down. And I think the guy did rebuild it because the guy said his father-in-law rebuilt it. But I remember when I was sold this car, it was like, yeah, it's a 4-speed out of a Vette. And then I look under, it's like a Saginaw, and it's a 350. But, you know, somebody told me that was an expert on Chevys, said that the harmonic balancer is a little bit thicker on the 350 versus the 305. Well, that's not true because it's the same part number. I think it's a little thicker on the 400, and maybe something's like that with the older ones, the 283 and the 265. I don't think so, though. But if you're looking at the valve cover right here, you go in the back, and right back there, is that showing up? This might be not showing up on the camera. Yeah. Maybe it's not showing up on camera that well. Well, I can't get this sucker on camera that good. Oh, it's flipping around. Do it upside down here. Yeah. Anyway. Well, yeah, you can barely, yeah, maybe you're picking it up there. It's kind of blurry though. It's not focusing. It's focusing on the wire ahead of it. But it's 460-777. It's right on the pad on the top of the block, a casting number. If you look, I can't, you know, this thing's upside down now, so. If you look in here, you go straight back, it's full of grease, but it's a 305 2-bolt main, built from 76 to 79. So this is 78, likely the original motor. But something was done to it because the block was decked, and since the block was decked, it took off the number of the pad in the front, which I think is on the side with the alternator. There's a number. On a pad, but you know, I checked that earlier, years ago when I first got the car, and you know, one thing, I ordered a starter for this thing, and I ordered a 350 starter. I think they're the same size physically, hopefully. I know there's, but you know, it's a 305, so it's a 305. And which is weird, I broke a Saginaw transmission with a freaking 305. Holy crap. That's that Zoom clutch that was in there. The shock load killed it. Actually broke the main shaft in half. So this is a 305. Not that I give a damn, but more bullshit. I think I got my vapor lock problem solved. I took the phenolic resin spacer off of there because it changed the fuel mixture in the carburetor so radically that the car was running like shit. You know, I guess if you get a spacer, you might want to get a 1/4-inch spacer instead of a 2-inch spacer. And what I did was I put 2 gaskets on there, and I don't have the hood insulation. Now, it's kind of a fairly cool day compared to what it normally is, and there's some wind. But I tried it, you know, starting it up when the engine was sat for about 25 minutes or whatever. I didn't have any problem starting it up at all. It started right up. So maybe it's fixed. I don't know. But it should be a hell of a lot better. But yeah, this is a 305. So this is the original. I'll guarantee you this is probably the original engine to the car, which is okay. That's fine. It's fine by me. And with a 305, you know, it does pull good with that Holley on there. You know, once that thing warms up, this engine does have, it pulls okay. So what is the horsepower on it? Crap, it's way under, what is it? I don't know, 175, 165, whatever. It's pretty anemic. But, you know, it goes okay because it runs okay. I don't really give a crap. And that's telling me I'll stick with the Saginaw transmission, stick with the cheapo rear end in it, and just want to get another clutch for it. And I think the guy's father-in-law did rebuild this engine because there's no way in hell those numbers would have been off the front of the block if the block wasn't decked. You know, but you know how much he built on it, I don't know. I have no idea, man. So I'm running Marvel Mystery Oil in it all the time. But this is a 305. It's not a 350. And I was under the impression it was a 350 all these years. Now I was like trying to find out if there's, you know, when I found out that the harmonic balancer part numbers are identical, I says, wait a minute, that was what somebody was telling me was identifying it. That's bullcrap. They're identical. The 305 and the 350 harmonic balancers are identical. It's that it's not focused. My camera's not focusing in down here, but it's right on. It's actually right where that light's going. If you move this accordion, it's like to the left where that accordion thing is, more or less. I got the screwdriver in here. It's actually the screwdriver's pointing right to it, and I could see it. Maybe you could see it a little bit. Maybe you could see it a little bit right there. You might see the 0 and a 6 and a 6 and a 0. It's 460777. It's definitely a 305. It more likely it's the original motor because it's a 305. That's a casting number for a 305 that was built from 76 to 79, and this is a 78 El Camino. So the guy's father-in-law he rebuilt the original engine. That's what the hell he did. And I don't know. So that's what I got, 305. Whatever. Man, I was under the impression for the last 27 years this was a 350. And it's like, you know, I knew these were 305 exhaust manifolds, exhaust system, and I figured maybe just bolted all that crap up to it. And you know, everything you get for a 350 and a 305 is pretty much interchangeable. But that casting number doesn't lie because you can't make a 305 into a well, maybe you could somehow, a really special creative custom crankshaft or something. But like a 327, you can make into a 350. I think the later model 327s, it's the crank shaft changes. The crank and the rods in the 350 and the 305 are the same. It's the bore size. And the heads have different CCs and different valves. But, you know, I'm okay with the 305 because maybe I can make this sucker get better mileage, you know, when I put the HHO in it. I don't really give a crap. What I'm really concerned about is the strength of the transmission in the rear. You know, the engine, I don't really care, but, you know, I guess the Saginaw is going to be plenty for a freaking 305. Anyway. But, typical bullshit artist, man. That is one thing you want to check. I didn't know about that. And you know what? It's the internet that is, you know, back when I bought this car in 91, I mean, I knew people that were building Chevy motors forever. They didn't know about that casting number in the back. We all knew about the pad number in the front. We didn't even know about that crap. That's why the internet is good, because you actually got more knowledge today than when you used to have. But this is a 305. Probably the original. It is the original motor. It's got to be. It's got to be. It was rebuilt. And I know it was rebuilt. I think that part was honest because the block wouldn't have been decked. I don't know if everything was rebuilt on it, though. I mean, maybe it's got the same cam and lifters. Maybe he just did a ring job and bearings. I don't know what the hell the guy did. But he did deck the block. So, you know, if you deck the block, you probably put new pistons in it and stuff. So the engine probably only has, even though I didn't put that many miles on it since I got the same thing. I mean, I did originally, but, you know, usually it's a lot of freaking short trips. So that's what she is. Boy, that's a lesson because, you know, when anybody's selling you something, And check that number in the back there, which is very difficult to freaking see. It's got full of grease and all that kind of crap. You get that number off that block. Now, that's still not going to tell you if they did some kind of custom work where they, if it's a 327 block and the guy's telling you it's a 350, well, if it's a later model 327, you could have put the 350 crank and rods in there. But with a 305, you're not making it into a 350 unless you're doing something astronomically custom, one-off, and you're like, I don't know what, you're a creative genius or something, You're not going to make it to a 350. So that's a 305. Should get better mileage than this damn thing's getting, that's for sure. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Kind of pisses me off. I was bullshitted like many years ago, and I never knew that I was bullshitted too, I mean, I knew the engine was rebuilt because of the decking of the block, and I couldn't check the pet numbers back then. But thankfully, for the freaking stupid internet, we can see what's going on here, more or less. Anyway, over and out.